Bonjour y'all, my name is Brita, and today on Witches Unite, I am giving an overview of Adversaries and Harry Potter Wizards Unite. I know that all of you have a lot of questions about how Adversaries are going to work. I have questions too. I don't yet have answers to all of the questions that I have, so this video is going to stick with some of the basics, and then I will follow up with more videos and articles on Wizards Unite Hub as we learn together about Adversaries in Wizards Unite. A thank you to Niantic and Warner Brothers for providing me with some of this information in advance so that I could create content for all of you. I do have an article on Wizards Unite Hub that covers a lot of the same information that's in this video. I'm actually going to be reading through the preview on my phone. So you can find the link to that in the description down below. So we are going to start with some of the basics. I will have those things, the timestamps. I will have timestamps in the description down below so you can skip ahead to the questions that you want to have answered. What are adversaries? Adversaries are a type of trace encounter found on the map. The encounter will include a chain of 3 to 5 foes to defeat, including the final archfoe. The archfoe is the villain from the Wizarding World, the villains that we saw on the posters in the teaser trailer, the villains that we saw a little bit in the original Wizards Unite Challenges registry, and also in the official guidebook. So those will be the archfoes, and that is what you think of when you think of adversary. Adversaries will be in 2 categories: feared and lethal. Adversary traces on the map will be indicated by a green adversary trace marker. Feared and lethal adversaries each have their own distinct design. So you'll know if it's feared or lethal by the trace on the map. What is the difference between feared and lethal adversaries? Feared adversaries are more common than lethal adversaries. They have fewer, less difficult foes to defeat. A feared adversary will have 2 foes plus the archfoe to defeat. A lethal adversary will have 2 to 4 foes plus the archfoe to defeat. In a feared adversary chain, the 2 foes will both have profession affinities, meaning the 2 foes, the 2 foe attendants to the archfoe, will be easier for a certain profession to defeat. A lot more on that coming later. None of the foes in a lethal adversary chain will have a profession affinity. That means all of the lethal adversary foes will be equally difficult for all professions. Also, all archfoes, regardless of feared or lethal, will be equally difficult among the professions. Feared adversaries can appear on the map during the following circumstances. 1. Randomly on the map, just like any other trace. 2. On the map after consuming an edible dark mark. Number 3. On the map during an adversary's event. And of course, we have our first adversary's event coming up very soon. On the other hand, lethal adversaries appear less frequently during the following circumstances. 1. On the map during an adversary's event. 2. On the map after consuming an edible dark mark, but only after being introduced during an adversary's event. So, adversaries' events will introduce 1 lethal adversary at a time. Before an event ever happens, lethal adversaries will not be available through edible dark marks. After the first lethal adversary event, the adversary who is featured during that event might show up on the map when you consume an edible dark mark. Each monthly Adversaries event will introduce one new lethal adversary. What is an edible dark mark? An edible dark mark is a consumable item that works kind of like a tonic for trace detection. When you use it, 3 adversary traces will appear on the map. You cannot use an edible dark mark while a tonic for trace detection is active. This is largely to protect players themselves because the time it takes to defeat all of your adversary encounters can be a lot, and you don't want to miss out on the traces from the tonic for trace detection while you are trying to defeat your adversaries. How do you obtain edible dark marks? You can purchase them in Diagon Alley, the in-game store. You will also be able to earn edible dark marks as rewards for completing events, most likely adversary events, but fingers crossed we will see those as rewards for like Community Day or Brilliant events in the future. Certain events will also have edible dark marks, part of the free store pack that each event has. Do I need to use an edible dark mark to see adversary traces? No. Adversary traces can appear completely randomly. You don't need to use an edible dark mark to see adversary traces. At the moment, we do not know how common they will be, so you might need to use an edible dark mark if you live in an area that doesn't have a lot of trace density. Also, a reminder that to see lethal adversaries outside of events, you will need to consume an edible dark mark. Feared adversaries can appear randomly on the map. No need to purchase an edible dark mark. What is combat against an adversary like? Well, an adversary encounter is a bit like oddities and a bit like foes in wizarding challenges. So the game mechanics are going to be very similar. You'll use your finger to move your wand on the screen. There will be a target that you need to line up to cast your spell, and then you'll need to trace the glyph to attack. Similarly, y'all, it's been a long day. To defend, to cast Protego, you'll need to swipe your finger in the direction indicated on your screen. You definitely want to be strong about those Protegos so that you take less damage from the foe. Your stamina replenishes after the end of each successfully defeated foe in the overall encounter. You'll definitely want to have healing potions on hand, however, because if you get knocked out, if you get defeated, that's it. The overall adversary encounter is done, and you do not get another chance to fight the adversary. Other potions you can use are all Stimula potions and wit sharpening potions. You can also stack a wit sharpening potion with an Stimula potion to be even more effective. This is very similar to how those potions work in wizarding challenges. Can I use a trace charm on an adversary? No. You cannot use the trace charm on an adversary to spawn additional adversaries. Right now there is a bug where if you use the trace charm just on a regular trace, you might see the adversary trace come up, but that is a bug. You won't be able to interact with that trace. I am not sure if you would eventually be able to do that, like randomly get the adversary trace as a bonus from using the trace charm. We will have to play the game and find out whether or not that will work. Do adversaries count as elite foes towards the achievement? No, they do not. The exact text of the achievement, or at least the final achievement, is defeat 1,000 elite foes in wizarding challenges. Adversaries are encounters on the map. They are not foes in wizarding challenges. So defeating adversaries will not count towards that achievement. My FAQs article on Wizards Unite Hub also has an entire section on professions and adversaries, but there is so much information there to cover that I want to explain in more detail outside of an FAQ format, that's going to be at least one other video, if not multiple other videos. However, if you want the quick answers to the questions, again, just go to my article on Wizards Unite Hub. The description is in... Y'all, I am like mixing up a lot of my words in this video. The link is in the description down below. So I answer questions such as, what's the best profession against adversaries? Spoiler alert, it's whichever one you have maxed out. What are the profession affinities? I have a whole chart on that. Do my current profession skills apply to adversaries? Yes, they do. Can I change profession during battle? No, you cannot. What is the new lesson plan? It's advanced adversarial combat. It unlocks once you have completed an entire profession lesson plan. It's the same for each profession. And the resources you need are scrolls, spell books, restricted section books, and Defense Against the Dark Arts books. So, those are just some of the things that I explain a bit more in depth in my article on Wizards Unite Hub, and then I will explain like super in depth in a future video. Anyway, that's all that I have for y'all today. Y'all, this has been quite the venture in getting this content together. There is just so much information, and I only know some of it. Like, I have so many more questions to get answers to. You know, there's only so much you can understand by reading documents in advance. At a certain point, you have to actually play the game to figure out how a new game mechanic works. Anyway, I appreciate all of y'all watching this video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you want more Wizards Unite content, plus, you know, the occasional random Harry Potter content, subscribe to my channel. Once I reach 1,500 subscribers, I will have another giveaway for some fun Harry Potter merch, which I've already purchased. So subscribe to my channel so I can have a giveaway. I also want to thank everyone who has supported my Unite Against Hunger campaign. We blew past the original goal of $2,000 during the charity live stream with Lynette of Wizard PhD and James of Expecto Go. Thank you to both of them for helping me with that. You can find their channels in the description down below. And of course, thank you to everyone who came to the live stream, who shared the campaign to their social channels, and of course who donated. I know that not everyone is financially able to donate at this time, and that is completely okay. You know, the holidays are a time of giving when we are able, and giving what we are able to give, and giving love, giving friendship, giving support, giving community. All of those intangible things are also really important, and they are the heart of the Wizards Unite community. So thank you for just being here. Thank you for being part of the greater Wizards Unite community. Even if you are not able to donate to the Unite Against Hunger campaign at this time, you are still a valued member of the community, and I am very grateful to have you be with us. Okay, before I ramble and cry, because I feel like doing a bit of both right now, I'm just really grateful, so I'm gonna stop. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, au revoir, witches.